Good morning and welcome. I'm Kevin Meredith, President of Engineering Design Systems. On behalf of EDSI and Autodesk, we'd like to thank you for joining today to learn more about the value of Autodesk Factory Design Suite. Just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Our attendees this morning will be in a listen-only mode. If you have questions, you can type them into the Q&A panel in the upper right-hand corner. We will be monitoring and answering questions during this session. Today, we're going to focus on some of the challenges that manufacturers face as it pertains to factory design, layout, and changes on the factory floor. Then we're going to show you how the Autodesk Factory Design Suite can be an effective tool to tackle some of these challenges. Let's start by talking about some of the challenges we face as manufacturers today. First of all, we are subject to constant change as a result of market pressures. Things like global competition, fluctuations in demand, regulatory compliance, and material cost. These market pressures drive new business priorities. So we're constantly striving for new product innovation, better capacity utilization, and to reduce overall operating and capital expenditures. The bottom line is the ability to adapt quickly in manufacturing can give us a core competitive advantage. To help understand more about how manufacturers deal with change, Autodesk recently worked with TechClarity. TechClarity is a leading research firm that focuses on evaluating the business value of investments in technology. TechClarity performed an analysis that surveyed 256 global industrial machinery manufacturers to understand how they approach change in the factory and to determine best practices to manage change. And there's several insights gathered from this analysis that we'll be sharing this morning. Just to give you an overall view, the industries represented in this analysis were manufacturers. 33% were involved in industrial machinery, 25% were in the automotive sector, and 17% were involved with producing durable consumer goods. I'd also like to say that the respondents to this survey were strongly representative from management and senior level executives from within these firms. So let's take a look at some of the survey results from TechClarity. This slide shows the reasons for change in the factory. And they include things like improving product quality, of course introducing new products, but also there was a drive to improve operational efficiency. And I think as manufacturers today, we have to keep working to get better and stay ahead of our competition. We believe the key to our future and future manufacturing in the United States is how we manage change. The world and the environment we operate in is changing faster than we would like. We need to develop new processes and utilize best-in-class tools if we're going to gain a competitive advantage and be successful in today's rapidly changing marketplace. So we all know that the market is dictating our organizations evolve and change. If we do this well, our organizations will thrive. If we don't, and this is what this slide shows, we're going to be faced with cost overruns, delayed projects, quality problems, and inefficiency. This slide shows the survey results for the top 5 most significant challenges in implementing change in the factory. The largest, 48%, determining the cost of change. 36% of the respondents, top challenge, coordinating with engineering and manufacturing. Other challenges that were on the top of the list include understanding the impact of change, documenting change, and finding the right information to evaluate change. I think what was interesting about these results to me is that 2 of the 3 items relate to understanding the results of change in the factory. As part of the research, Tech Clarity has attempted to determine which manufacturers are the top performers when it comes to adapting to change. They did this by analyzing their ability to hit targets related to factory change for due dates, budgets, and production volume. The research shows that the top performers are more agile and they're more able to implement change more predictably. They're better at hitting their target budgets, they're better at hitting due dates on their change initiatives, and they're better at achieving the desired outcome of their change. Now, although they're still subject to risk and uncertainty, the top performers are better in control of their change process and can implement changes faster and more confidently. Now, this slide shows the flow and components in the manufacturing change process. The first component is process engineering, and this is the design of the manufacturing process to make individual parts and the assembly process to make the complete product. We've got production layout. This is the layout of physical equipment in the factory to execute the manufacturing and assembly processes in the most efficient way possible. We've got factory design. This is the design of the facility that the production layout will reside in. This includes MEP connections required to operate the equipment in the factory. Then we have installation. And this is actually the scheduling and the installation of the production layout and building design or modifications. And then across this entire process, we have operations. And this is just the planning, the management, the execution of all the many processes that are involved to operate once the factory is commissioned. Let me first say that we understand that every organization is unique, and depending on the product you produce, your manufacturing process may differ. But for the purpose of our presentation today, we're going to focus on production layout and installation. Let's talk about where we are today as it pertains to factory design. Most companies are using AutoCAD to lay out their machine lines or their entire production layouts. And overall, I think this works well, but there are some challenges. The first and foremost, problems can be easily overlooked in a 2D layout. There's really no way to detect clashes. In this 2D format, AutoCAD format, it can also be a challenge in collaborating with partners, especially if they have different or solids file formats. It can also take us a significant amount of time to capture the as-built state of the facility. So let's dig a little bit into the production layout process. This diagram shows a simplified graphic of the production layout processes and cycles through each stage's challenges. Now, the production layout process is the laying out of the equipment to execute the manufacturing and assembly processes. So first of all, we've got to capture the as-is state of the movable equipment and the immovable building characteristics where the production line will be installed. Then we've got our layout design. Using requirements from process engineering, we have to lay out the factory space with the placement of equipment and supporting fixtures. And we've got layout optimization. And this is just the optimization of material flow through the production line. Then we come back to project review, which is a review of the production layout with the key stakeholders, including operations, facilities, and industrial and manufacturing engineering. And then we come down to the actual installation and commissioning, where the final layout is signed off with our detailed drawings, and everything is created for the installation and commissioning of the factory layout or the changes. So let's start with our first item and talk about some of the challenges as far as capturing the as-is state of your existing facility. First of all, typically this is a manual process. And unfortunately, people make mistakes in manual processes. So sometimes capturing this information manually, we encounter mistakes. We also need to make sure that we account for features like piping, ventilation, columns, mechanical door openers, stairs. And then finally, there's really no way to visualize within AutoCAD for verification and accuracy. Now let's talk about our layout tools. Here are some of the examples of the layout design challenges with AutoCAD. First of all, AutoCAD today is not purpose-built for factory layout workflow. We got to manually create our section views. Our assets are typically not smart or parametric. And many times the stakeholders, specifically the executives, are not experienced in reading 2D AutoCAD drawings. And finally, most of us do not have a library of smart factory content such as conveyors, robots, material handling equipment, and these things can expedite our AutoCAD workflows. Layout optimization. When we're laying things out in AutoCAD, we typically have very limited or manual analysis of our material flow. And I think a lot of times this is a missed opportunity when we're making changes in our organizations that we could potentially have some increased efficiency. The biggest challenge in the production review phase is that our 2D layouts are difficult to interpret for non-technical users. Then when we move to production layout installation in an AutoCAD-only environment, we find that many times our suppliers and vendors may have their CAD data in different design systems. And if we've not been able to put our plan into a three-dimensional view and check clearances, there's the potential that we're going to run into problems. Problems in the installation phase are not good. This is something that we want to avoid. They can be very expensive and they can cause delays. So how are the top performers, the best-in-class folks in the industry addressing these challenges? TechClarity has attempted to identify the top performers in manufacturing and graph how their approach differs in supporting change in the factory. The top performers consistently reported stronger capabilities supporting change management in the factory as compared to others. The study found that top performers are 2 times more likely to use reality capture, things like laser scanning. They're 1.6 times more likely to use online collaboration tools. They're 1.5 times more likely to use electronic change notifications. They're 1.5 times more likely to simulate their material flow. And they're 1.3 times more likely to create visual work instructions. So let's talk specifically about how Factory Design Suite can help. Factory Design Suite, utilizing Recap and Inventor, which are components of the suite, can help you capture, clean, and edit laser scans of your facility. This will provide you with a more accurate representation of the as-is state of the facility. Factory Design Suite, utilizing AutoCAD, Inventor, and some of the Factory Design Suite utilities, helps expedite the design process and test different what-if scenarios to find the best solution by using smart assets that have associative links between 2D AutoCAD and 3D Inventor modeling tools. The Factory Design Suite helps you analyze material flow directly in AutoCAD early in the design process when it's easier to optimize overall equipment placement before commissioning. Factory Design Suite, utilizing Navisworks, helps you facilitate reviews with non-technical key stakeholders using 3D virtual walkthroughs to identify potential issues early in the design process. And Factory Design Suite helps you reduce cost during installation. It includes some clash analysis tools to identify potential collision issues before commencing installation. And also part of the Navisworks Manage, you can actually simulate installation and demolition sequencing digitally to ensure on-time commissioning. So let's take a look at what one of our customers' experiences have been and how it has benefited them with the Factory Design Suite.
Dearborn Midwest is a turnkey contractor that has great experience with conveyors. We've done $200 million a year. We provide a service that is better than our competitors. The service we provide our customer is superior to what the others provide.
I'm a projects engineering manager for Dearborn Midwest. We make conveyor systems for the auto companies primarily. We're a Tier 1 supplier for Ford, Chrysler, General Motors. We make the assembly line equipment that transfers the vehicle through the plant, through all the stages of build, from the initial welding to sheet metal all the way off the final line when they drive off. Factory Design Suite has allowed us to transition from a 2D world into a 3D world very seamlessly. All of our deliverables to our customer at this point are in 2D. With Factory Design Suite, we're able to take the 3D models that we've created for the whole system and easily transfer those into a 2D drawing, 24 by 36 sheet that we can give to the customer. It also allowed us to use that same information for our field installation. They require 2D drawings, and Factory Design Suite integrates very well with our existing AutoCAD infrastructure. Traditionally, our industry has worked on 2D flat pieces of paper, and this Factory Design Suite has allowed us to transition that into 3D, and I don't see us going back. I think from here on out we're going to be in a 3D world along with all of our suppliers, all the companies that interface with us. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to work in the 3D world. The ability to laser scan a building and get information in 3D and lay it out in 3D has been much more reassuring for us that it's going to fit as an end product and work the way it's intended to work. When we scan the building, it gives us a cloud of points in 3 dimensions that represent where everything is in the building. It allows us to not have to send engineers and millwrights out to the building to take measurements with a tape measure. Once we get that information, it's always available. For this project, we did the 3D scan, laid out our equipment as it was presented to us in the bid pack, and we found a couple of interferences that were identified because of the 3D scan. We were able to move our equipment to avoid those interferences, and in one case there was a real tight fit with an interference on one side and one on the other that we had to kind of thread the needle on. We were able to do that with the Factory Design Suite. It allowed us to see that and position our equipment just right.
Well, it crunches our installation to where we need to have our design to be perfect. Our design requirements are that things bolt together and they work first time out. I'm excited that Factory Design Suite is going to help us turn around our product that much faster with fewer errors.
The Factory Design Suite has allowed us to decrease change orders quite a bit. Being able to identify interferences and clearance issues up front has kept a lot of the change orders down to a minimum.
In the past, we'd have to rework it. We'd have field crews reworking items at an additional cost, where in a shop it's much more efficient and better for our customer to not see us reworking things in the field.
The Factory Design Suite has allowed us to identify areas much more easily that could impact safety within the workplace, and allowed us to determine what type of controls that we want to put in place to minimize any safety hazards in the building. The ability of the customer to see the areas up front from safety, from maintenance, from production workers, was a big help, and it made them feel a lot more comfortable with what they were getting and where we could locate certain access points to make their jobs easier. Our clients appreciate what we do because we move their product quickly, we move it efficiently through the building, and we take safety into account when we design our equipment. There's a lot of people working in close proximity to our equipment, so it's critical that it's safe.
We'd also like to share this video demonstration overview of the power of the Factory Design Suite.
Autodesk Factory Design Suite can help manufacturers or factory owners who are often faced with the challenge of maximizing the output of a production line while finding the most efficient layout footprint possible. It is common for manufacturers to reconfigure a line to make room for new equipment and optimize the production of the layout. This process usually starts with an existing AutoCAD drawing that depicts the current configuration. Factory Design Suite offers material flow and machine utilization analysis capabilities inside AutoCAD that can help reveal possible improvements for the factory layout. Once stations, products, and routings have been established, modifications to the layout can be tested, producing an immediate analysis of the layout efficiency. Once an optimal layout is established, the new design needs to be clearly articulated to all stakeholders. Factory Design Suite provides a library of standard factory assets that can be used to create a 2D or 3D layout of the factory line. It also offers bidirectional associativity, which means designers can create layouts in AutoCAD and automatically convert the drawing into a 3D layout model in Inventor. Accurate layout proposals and installation drawings can be easily created from the 3D factory model. Photorealistic renderings can be generated to communicate the design intent to anyone, even if they can't read conventional 2D prints. Manufacturers and factory owners are often required to utilize CAD data from multiple sources while developing the new digital factory layout. Factory Design Suite recognizes and uses model data from most CAD authoring tools. Models created from other CAD tools can be easily placed alongside the regular factory assets that make up the overall layout. Manufacturers are often asked to develop a new digital layout based on existing real-world facilities. Factory Design Suite offers designers the ability to utilize laser scan point clouds for the factory building and develop digital layouts relative to the existing facility. The laser scan assures accurate measurements of the as-built state of the facility, and the clash detection tools offered in the Factory Design Suite help enable the discovery of interferences between the digital models and the point cloud. Autodesk Factory Design Suite provides the ability to easily create 3D layout models, clearly communicate design intent, detect costly errors, and accelerate the factory design process. It's easy to see how Factory Design Suite can assist manufacturers and factory owners in meeting their everyday design challenges.
I know we were only able to scratch the surface of this application today. Our objective was to address the challenges and to give you a high-level overview of the tool set in the Factory Design Suite. If you're interested in learning more, we can set up a call or a meeting, for a more in-depth discussion or demonstration. Just give us a call or drop us an email.